Hello everyone, my name is Uncle Lantern, and I am going to tell you a story about a pumpkin man. The year was 1908. It was a night very much like tonight. At a pumpkin patch somewhere in the state of Illinois of the United States of America. A couple named the Lanterns were driving home when they saw a pumpkin boy roaming around in a pumpkin patch. They pulled over, got out of the car, and went to the boy and asked him, "Where are your parents?" The pumpkin boy said he didn't know if he had any parents. The Lanterns looked at each other and quickly agreed to take the child home. Now, Mr. Lantern was the owner of a candle making company, which made him very wealthy and allowed Mr. and Mrs. Lantern to own a castle with lots of property. There, the pumpkin boy, which they named Jack, would spend his days playing in the yard without too many questions being asked by neighbors or passerby. Mrs. Lantern would homeschool little Jack, and Mr. Lantern would teach him the ways of candle making. This went on for quite a few years until one day after Jack turned 18, a stranger appeared in front of him. He told Jack that Jack was part of a collective of Halloween superheroes created to protect the spirit of Halloween. But before he could become a protector, he had to master his 4 powers. The power of fire, teleportation, force field, and humor. He also told Jack that he had to agree to this, that he still had a choice. So Jack contemplated, searched his heart, talked to his parents, and agreed to becoming one of the protectors. So now the next day, the stranger explained to Jack that he had one teacher for every power, and that he would meet them in the spirit world. But to get to the spirit world, he had to learn to meditate. Meditation would teach him how to activate his mind's eye that would help him enter the spirit world. And so the lessons begin. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce to you my nephew, Jack. Jack, the smog witch is trying to ruin Halloween. She's bringing in a bunch of smog into the neighborhoods so the kids can't see where they're going. Can you take care of it? Thank you. And so, Jack took care of the smog witch, and everybody lived happily ever after. My name is Uncle Lantern. I hope you enjoyed this story, and we'll see you next year. Hello everyone, my name is Uncle Frank Lantern, and welcome to this year's adventure of my nephew Jack. Now, if you all are wondering what my nephew has been doing for the past year, well, he's been polishing up his skills with his teachers, and he's been grounding himself to Mother Earth. Our story starts in the year 1750 in the middle of the Wild Wild West. In a small town in the heart of Texas, there was a cowboy named the Gambler, who was down on his luck. While he was outside drowning his sorrows, the Fog Witch showed up. The Fog Witch knew that the Gambler was addicted to gambling and had lost all his fortune. She knew he was now weak and could be tricked into joining the shadows. So she gave him a fake spell that would not give him his fortune, but would commit him to the shadow world. The Gambler was suspicious, but in his weakness he read the spell and with great regret surrendered himself to the shadow world. Now, with the Gambler being sucked into the shadow world, he will be going through some changes. And once these changes are complete, he will be renamed the Shadow Gambler. He will also be given powers. The power of removing light, as well as the power from going through one universe to another universe. This will come in handy for the shadow world for their quests into destroying Halloween across existence. Another thing I need to tell you is that in my universe it is 1938. In your universe it is 2024. And this is where the Shadow Gambler decides to appear for the first time. He appears in a small town in the middle of Pennsylvania called the town of White Ghost. As the Shadow Gambler was stealing light from one house, someone decided to pay him a visit. And when the Shadow Gambler noticed him, he tried to steal Jack's light. Jack protected himself with his force field and pushed the Shadow Gambler back with the force field. The Shadow Gambler brushed himself off and tried again to steal Jack's light, but Jack pushed him back again. Now the two were facing themselves eye to eye, saying things that we don't want to know. But then the Shadow Gambler decided to harness the powers from the shadow world. But Jack, before the Shadow Gambler could do anything, pushed the Shadow Gambler back to the vortex where he came from, back into the shadow world. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how Jack saved Halloween once again, and the kids once again were able to celebrate Halloween.
Thank you.
another year and another tale of Jack Lantern. So again, my name is Uncle Frank Lantern. From me and my nephew Jack, until next year, have yourself a safe and happy Halloween.